This is John Davis, and along with my colleague Mark Russo, this is the Everstream Analytics 5-minute forecast. If we look at risk over the upcoming week across North America, it's a relatively quiet week with no large-scale or significant disruptions in the supply chain network across the region. We do have some minor issues. One of them for the major airports is going to be high risk in Anchorage, Alaska. That's due to snow over the next couple of days, but that is the only major cargo airport that is scoring high risk. As for the major port operations across North America, only one, Port Hamilton in Bermuda, is scoring high risk. That's due to strong winds over the next couple of days across that location. And finally, in the intermodal hub network, out of a total of 207 intermodal hubs, we have 34 that are scoring high risk, primarily due to cold weather in parts of southern Canada, the northern US, as well as some snow and wind issues across some areas of the Great Lakes. If we look at specific winds over the next week's time frame across North America, again, we don't see any kind of widespread areas of very high wind gusts. There are a couple of isolated locations in southern New Mexico, off the West Coast, and some areas of coastal New England that are having some higher wind gusts. But again, these are isolated and certainly not widespread in nature. As we look at the snow situation out there, again, most areas do not have any snow over the next 7 days. Some of the higher elevations of the Rockies will get into some snow, and we do have a system that will lay down some snow the middle of this week in portions of the Midwest, southern Great Lakes, and into adjacent areas of Canada. Because of that, we do have a watchtower that we issued numerous days ago, and looking at this snow and ice event from the Midwest into Southeast Canada. And again, the timing of that is the second half of this week on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And again, this is not a major disruptive event across these areas, but it will cause some overall operations to have some impact, and certainly some business operations and transportation will be impacted to some extent the middle of this week, but this is not a major disruptive event across those locales. Now we'll go on to some of the global highlights with Mark.
Thanks, John. And leading the list here for this week and a higher risk of disruptions is across Europe, which will have a very stormy week. And as a result of that, we are tracking numerous major supply chain nodes, either scoring medium or high risk. One of the major airports scoring high risk is Milan due to snow in the Alps region. But the remaining major supply chain nodes, especially major ports and maritime choke points, scoring high risk due to wind. In fact, we have a watchtower for very strong winds that will be in place during the February 16th through 18th timeframe, and that will affect much of Northern Europe, including countries in and around the North Sea. And again, the timing of that, February 16th through 18th. And taking a closer look at one of the major ports impacted by the winds is the port of Rotterdam, again, Europe's largest seaport. In fact, they will have numerous days of stronger wind gusts, with the highest risk for more disruptions taking place during the February 16th through 18th timeframe, when wind gusts look to exceed 60 or even 80 kilometers per hour. And that's enough to potentially close the ports for a day or two, or at least restrict vessel movement during that time frame. So again, significant disruptions to ocean transportation are expected, but even onshore transportation will be affected by the very strong winds, and also again, some power outages are possible as well. Also around the world, in East Asia, we are tracking several airports and seaports at high risk. Primarily due to snow. And this snow has been ongoing here for several days. In fact, we have a watchtower that's been in place since February 10th and will continue through February the 15th. And that does impact the Tokyo region, where ongoing snow here could potentially cause significant disruptions to air transportation, as well as sea transportation and onshore transportation as well, and logistics due to, again, the snow, which pretty unusual situation for them to see this amount of snow at this time of season. Not rare, but certainly more disruptive, especially as it's been relatively quiet across that area this winter. Lastly, Madagascar looks to be impacted by yet another tropical cyclone. Tropical cyclone Dumako has developed over the weekend and will be impacting northern Madagascar during the middle portion of this week. The primary impacts of Dumako will be very heavy rainfall across the region. And again, already Madagascar has been reeling from the effects of tropical cyclones Batsarai and Anna over the past 4 to 6 weeks. So yet another major impact event here for northern Madagascar coming up during the middle portion of this week to cause significant disruptions to supply chain operations and businesses there. For more details on these risks to your supply chain networks and operations, please log into your Everstream account. Thank you for watching today's 5-minute forecast. Get in front of what's ahead.